but did you find, say, like the pandemic to be a bigger setback, or the actual lack of baseball? Is there a way you could quantify that?
I don't think I can, just because it's hard to get book sales from like my publisher. A lot of them I think have been furloughed, or I don't know
Right.
what. So it's hard to gauge that. I, like Anika, was able to have my book launch party with friends and family here in DC, and it was March 1st. And I mean, we had briefly talked about the coronavirus and what was going on. And the next week, or I guess maybe 6 days from then, my girlfriend and I traveled to Florida and took we visited friends in Tampa. We went to Orioles spring training. She's an Orioles fan. So we went to Orioles spring training in Sarasota, then drove across the state to go to Mets spring training in Port St. Lucie, which turned out to be the last game that
Yeah.
maybe played this year by the Mets. We had no idea. We were driving. We then drove up to go to Disney World. And on the drive up, I'm like, literally, she's driving, I'm on the phone. And I'm like, oh, the NCAA tournament's not going to make fans. That's weird. I heard about, I knew what was going on. We had friends back in DC. It's like, oh, this thing is shutting down. This thing is shutting down. I'm like, what's going on? And then that night, the NBA shut down. And then we go to Disney World the next day, and you just think about the juxtaposition of being in the happiest place on earth, where you're like kind of in some kind of utopic society, and then the world is imploding out,
Right.
outside of you.
While you're like sharing a lollipop with the person next to you.
And you're crammed with a bunch of people, and it's
right. Taking selfies with Daffy Duck, and it's
and we're just looking at each other going, what is going on? And you're the NCAA tournament is canceled, and I had started to think about, because the next, I guess it was 2 weeks, a week of opening day, I was supposed to go up to New York. I had tickets to opening day at Citi Field, had a book event at the New York Public Library, had a few events lined up for that week, and I started to go, oh, what's going to happen? And for a hot second, I was like, oh gosh, why now? Then I snap out of it.
Well, I don't think it's a very human, it's a very American impulse to be like, yes. And it's understandable too.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking like, well, I'm thinking like, okay, well, I'm not suffering nearly as much as a lot of people. So, and as far as, obviously I haven't been able to go to New York City. So that's been unfortunate, right. but understandable. As far as promoting the book, I've had to, kind of alter that. And like Anika was talking about, how is your messaging change, specifically on social media? And I've been able to generate a lot of sales through social media. And it's a small thing I do, but I've been donating a small portion of sales made to COVID relief. I did that up until a certain point. Now I'm donating to the Jackie Robinson Foundation due to obviously the events of
the other major societal shifting event going on right now.
I say this.
The other virus.
I say that with gallows humor.
Pervasive.
I was talking to my girlfriend and I said, I'm donating to we're donating to the it was like a hospital in Queens, and with all the ridiculousness that's going on with the social injustice, I'm like, because I feel like we should do something, or me, should do something there. And I gallows humor, I go, coronavirus is so April.
Yeah.
Just like, what do you do? Like, you just, I feel like if you don't, it's like, it's like, what, where do you go? It's like everyone could use something right now. There's so many different directions you can go.
I feel like coronavirus is like the 2018 Mariners or something. It's like way in first place in April, and then by the end of it, it's just like, nah, we're over you.
Yeah, and it's just, you're just kind of overwhelmed by everything, and you're just feeling for everybody. So I've had to just alter the angle, I guess, of how I promote it, and it could go both ways. I mean, there are people specifically in New York City who need a distraction from all everything that went on when it was the epicenter of this virus. There are people that just say, I don't have time to read a book, understandable as well. So you kind of frame it like, hey, if you need a distraction, there's this. So, if you want, you can learn about the history of the Mets. And then of course, on top of that, the donations, which is just a small token of
Sure.
Small way to help out. It's not going to change the world, but it's a little bit, and I think it's necessary at this time, specifically speaking, because I'm very, doing fine. Not only am I not, not only am I healthy, but I'm not dependent on book sales. I have a full-time job that's really boring, but it pays. So I'm not like, when this all happened, after a few minutes of feeling selfish, I started to think, whatever,
Right.
whatever the sales are, it's not going to affect me. And I found that doing sales through social media has been really great. I mean, if you try to just, if you just reach out every once in a while, I haven't been as frequent with my social media because of everything that's going on. And it's just, it's
tough to find a place to put it, right?
Yeah. It's you're not going to, it's hard to get through.